Hello, fam. So I was asked to make a review on how would I build a light and ardor team. So the thing is, you need to know is that light and ardor both have decent bags, and mid light has well pretty much junk except for some if you're not looking at legendaries, and ardor is much better mid. So let's start talking. First thing is you're either gonna go in the back mono light or mono ardor. Combinations just won't tend to work as well because of the way how light buffs work. Now, when we're looking at the light back, most of the time we're usually looking at an Asilla, something like a Huan Ran, of course a Cheetos, throw in a Virgil, and then you're normally going to go four-man back. So something like Elua, Leia, even Mikael, or even Milky Way. It depends what you're going to try to do. Or you can go the K way of life, and that's going to be more critical resistance based. So you're going to try to throw some Ivy. You're still going to throw Huan Ran. So it's going to be really dependent on what you want to do. So again, I'm not going to give every single back comp because there's just too many options in Light Ardor. Or of course, you could go Mono Ardor in backline, and I mean that's a little bit easier. You know, you got to throw in Angela. You know, you got to throw in Gelf. You know, you got to throw in Death Queen. You know, you got to throw in Kevin, and then you're left with one slot. And that's imagining you don't have legends because, for obvious reasons, if you have Jiho or Shu, they're going to be in backline. Now, Light doesn't have this issue because it has no backline legend, who is something that has frustrated me since day one, and it's still frustrating me. So yay! Now for midline, there's a few different options. First of all, you need to know that in the light section, the only people who are good in midline are very clear. It's Duke, it's Beth, it's Sammy, who's like somewhere down here. The thing is, Sammy has the ace you want, so whatever happens, you gotta put Sammy. She's like the one required player. You put her center mid, you put her as ace. She's the best center mid of both elements. So that's pretty clear. Then, of course, you're going to want to put Duke and Valk Beth, or you can put Choi. I don't know if you have him. If you do, that's also a very viable option. It's just a little bit different. Now, if you don't want to put 5-star, if you don't have the legends, the next very good options are, of course, going to be Victoria. And in my personal opinion, Galf being in midline is also very powerful. For example, if you got a light back, this will allow you to have two active healers in the team. He has a reflex buff. He has super play. He's actually very powerful in midline and is being underestimated there. So I feel that would also be a very good combo. So 5-star wise, it would be Victoria, Sammy, Galf. And if you're going legend wise, well, it depends what legends you have, but it should be something like Duke, Sammy, Choi, Bev, whatever the hell you want to do. Of course, Jiho is also very powerful in backline, and some people actually put her midline to stack her debuff to have a huge advantage when they get to backline. Only do that if you have a speed backline. It is an option, and I actually seen it be very powerful. Now again, the front line is going to be the same issue as the backline. You really don't know who you want to keep because Ardor works really well with Ardor and Light works well with Light. Now, I'm just going to say, unless you're running Vonchi, being the one exception to the rule, the center front is always going to be a lane. Then you're going to have your striker on the side, and the passer, depending on your element, is either going to be Renee, I don't know how exactly that's pronounced, or you can go in the light section and you can run Scylla or Sky, who are both pretty damn good. So it's again going to depend on your striker, but the units that you're going to be running are always going to be at least an Elaine and a Sammy in the team. The only exception, as always, is if you have Vonchi, because without the speed buff, he is kind of shitty. I'm sorry to say that. I've tried just running Elaine, it's just not as powerful, and I even run Baltheon. So again, that's why it's a bit more complicated to build a Light and Ardor, but it does mean that you have much more room for you to try and test stuff out. But again, I'm going to say in the players that even without looking at the legend, you should really look at getting. There's always going to be Victoria. There's going to be Kevin. There's going to be Galf, who are going to be really great. In the light side, you have people like Shaman. You have Cheetos. You have Virgil. I mean, the Insane Spirit gen right there. Okay, Leia, but that's just my wife. I know people will not try to use her correctly. And I mean, she doesn't really fit that well in Light Ardor anyway. That's more light dark kind of deal. So that's kind of how I would look at Light Ardor. Again, there are a different bunch of combinations, but the problem with this is that this is one of the few where there are too many options open, so you can actually really customize, but you have Sammy center mid. You can use Leah, but she's just not as powerful as Sammy, and Sammy even counters Metatron, who's the most common center mid in the league. So I would really advise using her. Her debuffs are good. It's pretty straightforward. Again, depending on your legends and who you really want to use, you should build your lines accordingly. Have a good day, guys.